Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, illustrated by Mark Evans. Mark Evans, yes. I don't know why I'm tripping on that name. There's a website at the bottom, llewellyn.com. Feel free to check that out if you want to. Just freeze frame, of course. Supportive Oracle cards. The Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin. Websites on the back here: torihartman.com, watkinspublishing.co.uk, or watkinspublishing.com. Of course, freeze phrase on that. Freeze frame on that too if you would like to. What do we have for Gemini? Why are we like so particular? So, okay. Okay. So, it's either there or it's not. So, on your side, I'm seeing the Tower coming up. On the other side, I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune. The Tower has not happened yet. I'm just kind of trying to show where we're going here. There's a change coming in. I'm also getting the World coming in with destiny, in the sense of like this was going to happen either way. It's not about what we like. It's about what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. Is this going to get brutal? Because there's a Sun card showing up here too, but I'm questioning where that's going to. Where it's going to fit in. There's a change coming. There's definitely a change coming. I don't think it's something you are really looking to happen. I don't think it's of your choosing, just to be fair. I don't think I look at this and go, okay, that's good. I don't think so. Take it with a grain of salt. The general reads, of course, because it's something you're very bonded with. And this is something where it's kind of like, either it's like almost like a house. Like I like my house. I like it when I change things around. I like to change, the colors of the walls, how things are organized. I like different people coming to stay, maybe. I like to keep doing the outside differently. Maybe this year I'll put flowers over there. Maybe next year I'll put something else over there and create the flowers over here. Like, it's a space, if we're going to use the house analogy, it's like I have a lot of flexibility to do what I want here, and I don't really want to let go of it. It fits me well. It could be a person. Could be a person, because what I'm getting here is there's something going on here and I don't care for it. It's definitely unexpected, even to whoever you're dealing with, if it's a person or whatever, if it's a situation. It's not really something that's planned. The Tower, the Wheel coming in is telling me this is not planned. When it happens, there's a lot of fear around this situation. It's the Page of Wands, but the look on that person's face is just kind of like, like I didn't want that to happen. When it happens, initially, I feel like I just do what I have to do. I'm like, okay, that happened, I gotta do this. Okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And I'm moving, I'm bobbing and weaving, and I'm just handling it. I think initially, you're just balancing it out, kind of like, well, if that happened, then I gotta do this. And if that happened, then I gotta do this. It's kind of like, things fall on the floor, I gotta pick it up. There's a mess left over, I gotta clean it up. I gotta wring out the mop, I gotta put everything away, I gotta throw out what was broke. And now it's kind of like afterwards, it's like, wow, there was stuff on that table, like it's almost like my grandmother's china was on that table and now it's gone. And it's kind of like after the fact. I cleaned it up when I had to, did everything I needed to do, and now it's like it's the after effect. The after effect is the Ten of Swords. They come out how they come out, you know what I mean? Then it's like, oh, like it's after the effect, like you may have realized it while you were cleaning it up, but it wasn't until after that you're really feeling it, is what I'm getting. I don't know if I want to use that analogy, but I will, I guess. It's almost like when you get into a car accident, God forbid, hopefully that doesn't happen. Universe forbid, whatever. Maybe you don't feel it at first, but the next day your body's like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. It's like, oh, it's kind of like that. Like at first it's like, it's horrible, it's bad. For some reason, I was able to get through it, but the next day when your body settles, it's like, we're not happy. The Ten of Swords is telling me it's not okay. Whatever happened, it's moving on. So it's like something is moving on, and it's not comfortable. On the other side, because it's like I feel like we have to get through the phase of accepting it. Is this? I mean, I feel like this is a little bit simple, but there's something here with this. What's that? How's that doorway coming in? I have to accept that things have changed before I can move past it. Now, I'm not saying, like, if there's some type of grieving process with this, I'm not saying you have to shortcut that, so don't take that way, hopefully. But it's kind of like, I feel like what they're saying is kind of like, when I start accepting that what's done is done, that's when the new shows up. So, I don't know. It feels weird to me, but, like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like maybe it's more of just like a heads up, because I don't think it's going to shortcut anything. I don't know. I feel like they're just saying, like, maybe you're going to hit a point in this situation when you're like, when am I going to be able to move on from this? When you start accepting that what's done is done and you stop looking back and you start looking forward, that might be like a trigger that, okay, that it's starting to move on. Not that you should force yourself to do that. I don't think we're trying to say that. But they're saying, like, there's a point where it's like, is this just going to go on forever? Because it feels like the situation is dragging on. When you stop looking backwards and start looking forward, when you notice yourself doing that, that's when the energy is starting to lift and it's starting to let go. The more you start looking forward, the easier it goes for you, and the appropriate timing. So I still feel like I don't like the way that's coming off. Like, I don't feel like they're saying do that. I feel like you're going to realize when you're doing that. I think it's just going to naturally start happening. And when it starts happening, I feel like there's some guilt there, kind of like, almost like I feel bad about letting go. But they're saying hopefully that you're able to make peace with that and not feel guilty. Because there's good things. The Sun card comes in. It came in the dice. It's coming up over here. Something a lot better is coming in. Something really good for you. I feel like maybe this is what they're trying to say, because I'm trying to get this a little. I don't know. Something's a little off with it, but making peace with guilt that maybe you shouldn't have, and like realizing that that's where some of this energy that's holding you back is coming from. Realizing it's guilt that maybe analytically you realize doesn't make sense, but emotionally you're still feeling some guilt. So it's kind of like, wait a minute, analytically I made sense of that. Analytically I shouldn't feel bad, but I still do. And kind of like realizing, all right, I'm going to have to kind of dig into that a little more and find out, like, why am I emotionally holding on to guilt? And that's like, it's kind of like trying to point out what needs to be worked out. That's where the last piece is. Once you're able to let go of that emotional guilt, and I feel like they're just saying, make sure you work on that. When you're kind of like, I shouldn't still feel guilty, but I do. I emotionally just feel it, but I worked it out analytically. How come it's not matching? Which is interesting because I'm a Pisces. I'm not a Gemini, but I can relate to that. I didn't expect that to happen for an air sign, but maybe it does happen to you guys too. Maybe I'm just a little bit naive to it. Where your heart and your head just don't match. Maybe that's more of a common thing than I'm really giving credit to. Your heart and your head don't match, and when they don't match, it creates a thunderstorm of unhappiness. So it's kind of like getting them both on the same page and realizing we got to find a way to get them both on the same page so we can move forward to the future. It's not saying shortcut anything. It's just saying realizing that that's what the problem is, and like, what do I need to do to work on that side? What like, do I need a therapist? Do I need some type of self-help book? Do I just need to go out in nature and cry it out? What do I need to do? Just as examples. Because I feel like I have to like make peace with letting go of what I'm letting go with, because I feel bad. I feel bad and I'm messing with myself. I feel like I'm messing with myself because this is the challenge card. Whatever was there in the past, I didn't expect to let go of. And I feel bad that it's gone. And I keep playing if this had just gone that way, if this had just gone that way. I feel like I keep playing that game. Realizing I'm doing that and removing the guilt, finding a way to just handle the guilt, or maybe just facing the guilt so I can let it go. once you let go of that, because I get like, it's not bad that it's there. I don't feel like you should feel bad about how you're feeling. I feel like they're saying you just need to address it. Because it's like, I feel like you're messing with yourself. You're going to be messing with yourself. I feel like a lot of people do this. They mess with themselves. I've often said that nobody can mess with me like I can mess with me, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. Other people can be very helpful with this. I see it says passion, but I feel like other people helping you. Other people can help you let go of that, help you release that block, because it's like they're behind the block. Like people can help you release this block. Can they release it for you? I wouldn't say that, but they can help you talk out things, or they can help you find other ways to do things. For some of you, that might be a therapist, because whatever's moving on, it's very heavy. Once you get that done, you will move on. I feel like you move on a lot more smooth than you realize once that's actually addressed, because especially one of the gifts of Gemini is to see many angles, and once you like get into it and people help you see different ways to handle things, you can do many different things with it. Like somebody gives you a ball and you can think of 50 different uses for that ball. It's not just for games. You can use it as this, you can use it as that, you can do it here, you can put this here to keep a gap between these two things. You can see 50 different uses for a ball that people couldn't. Everybody else is kind of like, yeah, you play baseball with that. And you're like, well, I got more uses for that. I can even make it into decor. Give me some paint, give me some clay, I'll make this into decor. You got a lot of different ways to handle things. This is one of those readings that's either going to hit or it's not. It's not going to create something. It's not going to make something happen. It's either going to happen or it's not. So just keep that in mind. So I wouldn't fear it in case you're like watching this and you're like, I feel like my life is fine, but if for some reason I watch this whole thing to the end, just keep an eye open for it. I feel like the gift of this reading, if it hits well, if it's received well anyway, is if such a thing happens and the devastation comes in and the Tower comes in with the Wheel of Fortune, like I was talking in the beginning of this video, it's kind of realizing like guilt is going to be a more of a factor than maybe you're expecting, and like maybe going forward and finding a therapist sooner rather than later, and just finding somebody to help you find what's going on and work through it, rather than kind of stumbling around in the dark, kind of like, I don't understand why this is still dragging on, I don't understand why this isn't getting better. The emotional guilt might be what's holding you down, might be. Of course, if that's the case, I highly recommend a therapist. They would know better than I would. Cool? Good? Letting it go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.